Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get on the channel, Paul Webb from BCB Promotions. And yeah, how are you, Paul?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Appreciate you having us on.
Anytime, mate. Yeah, so Errol Johnson and you have got a show in Torquay. Yeah, this Saturday. Um what venue is it? Correct me.
Yeah, so it's the Riviera International Centre, which is down in Torquay. So it's a really nice venue. It's used for a lot of big conferences and that kind of thing, weddings and that sort of stuff. So it's a nice big room, big space. Obviously, Torquay's a really nice place, to be fair. Been down there a couple of times. There's some, it's a good fight city, really. There's a lot of clamour for fights in that part of the country, and it's certainly a good venue to be at on Saturday.
Yeah, and I've watched a few streams of your shows, and they're always good shows, no matter what the venue is. So yeah, you always put on good shows, you lot.
Yeah, I mean, primarily, obviously, we're in the Midlands. Most of the shows that we put on tend to be in the likes of Birmingham, Warsaw, Wolverhampton. We do put shows on as far afield as Northampton as well. But we do these shows occasionally down in the southwest. We've got good relationships with some of the gyms down there and the trainers like Gareth Hogg. So there's always a clamour for the guys in that part of the country to have shows, and particularly with guys like Ben Andrews as well. The two fights he's had to start with have been away from home. He really wanted to fight back down in the southwest, and that's what this show has been able to provide him.
Yeah. So we'll get on to his fight in a minute, but yeah, you've got a five-fight card, which is good. You've got Zach Turnstill. I believe he's making his debut against MJ Hall over 4 rounds.
That's right. So yeah, Zach, he's probably more suited to a slightly lower weight than he's been matched with. Obviously, MJ's had 100 plus fights, bags of experience. Zach's only 19 years old, so they're kind of at the opposite ends of the boxing career scale. But MJ will give him a good test over those 4 rounds. He was a decent amateur, Zach. So looking forward to seeing how he starts off in the program.
Um, yeah, and MJ's as tough as they come and got a draw quite well in December against Nico. So yeah, he's good, solid journeyman MJ, and I'm looking forward to see what Zach can do because I'm not too sure, what we can expect from a debutant, especially me as a fan who hasn't watched him box before. So I'm quite interested to see what he's about this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. I say the first fight, there's always going to be those little bits of nerves that go on. And again, when you're in with someone that's as durable and tough as MJ, you know you're not going to get him out of there in the 4 rounds. He's so infrequently stopped, and you've got to prepare yourself for that 4 round distance. And as you say, he picked up a draw recently, and there's been fights where he's got the wrong side of decisions. And obviously, and watching enough boxing to know that for these guys to get the win on the road, sometimes it is very, very difficult. And he's certainly probably deserves a better record than what he has. But yeah, it'll be a good test for Zach, and let's see how he gets on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Then you've got a very good, intriguing fight between Harry Webb, who I've seen boxed out Plymouth sort of way, and he's boxed in York Hall a few times. He's got Stefan Vincent, the Wasp, very good on the road fighter who goes for the win, and he does like a good fight. Is Stefan.
Yeah, we've had Stefan on quite a number of our shows actually, and I said with these sort of opponents, it's always tricky because what you want is someone that can give these guys rounds and give them the experience, but you also don't want someone that is either one just going to fall over inside a round or two because they gain nothing from that. But B, you also don't want someone that's going to run for 4 rounds or 6 rounds, depending on the fight. And Stefan certainly doesn't do that. He's given some good prospects, some really good tests. He comes to fight, particularly the first couple of rounds. He'll let you know. And if he doesn't feel that you're at that level, then he's got no problem putting it on fighters. Obviously, Harry's got that more experience. As you mentioned there, like a lot of these guys, he's had to fight in London on the York Hall a couple of times. He's a well-travelled fighter. It's just looking for another good opportunity for him. And I think this fight is really about getting another win and then seeing what comes next.
Yeah, but it's a very tricky fight he's got.
Yeah, there's definitely a challenge to it. And also, it's about not sort of overlooking some of these opponents because all the pressure's on the home fighter in these kind of fights. It's not like, you've got a 50-50 matchup on paper where both fighters are coming into it with that burden on them with their own support. I mean, Stefan will have his corner there with him, but that'll be it. So Harry will have all these fans and supporters in the arena. He's the one that's got to be under pressure, and he's the one that's got to perform. But I certainly think he's more than capable of doing so. And I think that once he gets this one out of the way, there will be some good tests to come for him.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good fight. Another fight, we do like a bit of heavyweight action. Harry Armstrong v Jake Darnell, that's over 4 rounds. A rematch
Yeah,
now
Harry has got a big fight scheduled next month, so he's
in June
fighting.
against Nick Webb.
Yeah, fighting Nick Webb, which will be a really interesting fight. I like Nick Webb. He's come off the wrong side of certain results. He is that kind of English fringe level, so it'd be a good test for Harry. This is about him getting some rounds in again, a bit of warm up for that fight. Jake Darnell's as tough as they come. I've seen him numerous times. Again, very, very rarely stopped. There aren't many heavyweight journeymen or heavyweight opponents in the UK.
Yeah.
There was a time when I first started in boxing, there was a number of these sort of guys on the road, and that has diminished a little bit now. It's the hardest division to be a journeyman in. You know, you're going to take heavy shots. You can't do it for 80, 90 fights. It is very, very difficult. But he'll give him the rounds. If he gets them out of there, it's a hell of an impressive performance. But it's about getting that experience in for taking that challenge on the road. Again, he's no stranger to doing that, and it's something that I think he will do well. And on the night, obviously, there's a small heavyweight fight going over in Saudi Arabia. Everyone loves the heavyweights, and our show will be a nice lead into that. And hopefully, Harry gets to put on a good performance in front of his fans.
Yeah. I know going off a bit. Well, it's not going off topic, but it's going off your show a bit. But who've you got between Fury and Usyk?
Well, I've kind of gone a bit left field. I think Usyk possibly stops him. I'm a massive Alexander Usyk fan. I understand all the arguments for why people are picking Fury. He's been an incredible champion for a long period of time. But I think in boxing, so much is what have you done for me lately? And his performance against Ngannou wasn't very good. Obviously, he wasn't in the same kind of shape he's in for this one. And his preparation in terms of his previous fights, Dillian White, Derek Chisora, I don't feel that he's been boxing at the level that Usyk has been. And I think Usyk is such a fantastically tricky boxer. A lot of people think he doesn't carry the power at heavyweight, but I'm interested to see what Tyson's got left. There'll be no excuses. If Tyson wins, people can't pick holes in it. It's an incredible win. He cements himself as whoever wins this is the guy in the division. I'm a big Anthony Joshua fan, but he does play second fiddle to these two because of the results they've had. But Usyk has just got everything. He can box, he can punch, he can move. He's very durable. People will try and question that he can't take shots to the body because of a couple of incidents in fights, but there's not many heavyweights that can take huge shots to the body. And he did walk onto a big one against Dubois. Whether it was on the borderline or not is for others to decide. But I think he just has that little bit of everything that will be enough to beat someone like Tyson, who, for me, I just don't think he's the fighter that he was 3, 4, 5 years ago. But he's proved us all wrong many times. I thought Klitschko would stop him. I did think he'd beat Wilder, but I did think Vlad would be too much. So let's see. I just hope we get the main thing I want to see is I hope we get a conclusive ending to the fight. There's been a lot of talk about the Holyfield Lewis situation because obviously this is the first one since that night. And I'm old enough to remember that fight. And the first one in particular, where you were left with, a really poor judging decision. What we just want is a nice clean win, whether it's on points or a stoppage. We don't want the judges to be the headline. We don't want it to be because of something controversial inside or outside the ring or any of that sort of antics. We just want a good fight, really. And I just hope we get one. We've got an amazing few weeks in the sport, both from a small hall perspective and the much bigger cards. And they do work hand in hand. A lot of these guys start on these events like ours. And hopefully the big boys can deliver.
Yes. We spoke about that Harry fight already, didn't we?
Yep. Cut off both the Harrys, and then Sam Smith.
Sam Smith v CJ Wood over 6 rounds. Of course, Sam coming off a draw in his last fight to River Wilson Bent, which was a very good fight.
Yeah, I mean, he took that fight after, it was such a such an early start in his career. When I spoke to Sam about why he took it, he basically just said that the opportunity was there. I think that River Wilson Bent and his team, you know, they were fighting at home at the Sky Dome. They needed an opponent. Sam has a decent amateur background, but I think they're expecting a straightforward win. They might tell you different now, but in the build up to it, I think they thought it would be a nice, easy victory.
Mm.
And again, getting a draw on the road, it says all you need to know. He put in a hell of a performance against a really solid fighter. We had him on our show fighting against Ryan Kelly, River Wilson Bent,
Yeah.
where again he put in a great account of himself over 10 rounds. He is again that kind of fringe English level, and Sam pushed him every step of the way. And again, depending on your point of view, arguably could have got away with the win, but he took the draw on the chin. He's won. He's got a great mentality, Sam. He is very much a fighter's fighter. He doesn't necessarily think about, you know, it's about selling loads of tickets and being the big name. He's happy to be on the road and take these opportunities. And he doesn't want, you know, 9, 10 fights against journeymen. He wants another big opportunity. And again, he wants a win, which hopefully he'll get on Saturday night. And then who knows who we'll see him in with next? Because I think when Errol picks up the phone and rings him, I don't think he's frightened of fighting anybody.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, CJ's a good opponent who will give him a few rounds as well.
Yeah, I mean, the fight's scheduled for 6. And again, I think that CJ would fully expect to see those 6 out. But it's a good test for Sam to sort of see what kind of level he is at. Because again, did he do really well against River Wilson? Because River Wilson puts it on him and threw a lot of punches, and he had those opportunities to counter. When he has to be the main driver of the offense in this fight, which he inevitably will be, because CJ won't be active throughout the full rounds. It'll be interesting to see how Sam has to adapt to that. But I think he will. And as I say, there'll be some interesting fights in the back half of this year, depending on what comes his way.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not sure if the card you sent me was in order, but is Ben Andrews the main event?
It is, yeah. So it's in reverse. So yeah, so Zach's opening the show, and then yeah, Ben Andrews main eventing. So he's up against Pavel Garage, someone that again
Six
you'll have
rounds.
seen many times. You know, one of the sport's busiest journeymen the last few years. Again, he's been in with everybody. Very rarely stops. I think he's been stopped. I want to say once. Off the top of my head, I might be wrong. So
I think
don't
it
stand me
might
on
be
that one.
once, twice, 3 times,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah,
But
we
not
saw him in
often.
We saw him in recently against Clinton Baptiste on our Northampton show, and Clinton actually put him down. It was a hell of a shot that
Yeah,
dropped him.
not many put him down like that.
Yeah, and I think Pavel got his first win as well this year. So for Ben, he's been on 2 big shows. So Ben is linked in with Wasserman, so managed by BCB, but he's been on 2 Wasserman boxing shows. On the undercard of Lee McGregor's show up in Edinburgh, and also another show on Channel 5. The thing with those fights is you're fighting very early in the evening, you know, to a mostly empty venue. It's not in your town in Edinburgh, in case you couldn't get much further away from Ben's hometown. And he's not really had the chance yet to kind of main event and be the guy on a show. And it's a good thing being signed to these big promoters. It's what you want. That's where the money is, and that's
Yeah.
where the opportunities come. But it's also nice to be able to almost take a little step back, but put yourself in a bigger position on an event. And that's what Ben's got Saturday. He's a great talker. He's a good fighter. He's been a bit critical of himself in his first 2 fights because he has dropped rounds in both. They've not been shutout wins, but again, stepping up to 6 rounds for the first time. Again, he'll do some going to get rid of Pavel, but Pavel it'll be a good fight. It'll be a good test for him in our main event.
Yeah. And yeah, before I let you go, do you want to tell the fans, you know, what time the doors open and what time the first fight will be?
Absolutely. So tickets for the show are still available, and there's a handful of VIP tickets left. They always tend to go much quicker, but we have got some standards. So £40 standard, £80 VIP. So you're looking 7 p.m. at the Riviera International Centre in Torquay. Walk-ups very much welcome. The tickets will be available on the door. As I say, it's a 5-fight card. You've got 3 6-rounders and 2 4-rounders. Plan is that we'll all be wrapped up so everyone can get out and enjoy Fury versus Usyk. So you won't have to decide between one or the other. You'll be able to enjoy both. Plenty of good bars and venues to watch the big fighting afterwards. So hopefully everyone can come out. And there aren't that many shows, as I say, in the Southwest. For those fans that live near the Torquay area, pop down to the venue and enjoy a good night of boxing.
Wait, did you say what time the first fight was?
Oh, 7 p.m. first bell, 7 p.m.
All right,
And
good.
as I say, just more than likely all wrapped up for 10 p.m.
Good. Well, good stuff, Paul, and good luck with the show, and yeah, hopefully to catch up with you soon. Good luck with the show.
Absolutely, absolutely appreciate you having me on, and keep up the good work.
Thank you, mate. Bye.
Right.